Hey man, BeEazy Podcast, Season 3, Episode 1. I got Bobby, I got Eli, ZudeCast, man. How y'all been, bro?
Oh man, fucking fantastic.
Yeah, dude, we're stoked to be here. It's such a trip, coming on to somebody else's podcast. We're invading, bro. The Zudes are invading, bro.
The Zoos, man. The Zoos came, bro. I appreciate y'all guys for stopping through, man. I had to reach out to y'all. Y'all came, had me on the podcast. It was a dope-ass time, but I want the people to know who you guys are.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it a ton. You've been doing a lot of sick stuff, and again, tapping in with so many of the cool people that fuck with us, that fuck with everybody. We're doing this at CSSB. Shout out to all the motherfuckers in here, bro, making it happen for us, bro. And you had to do it to them, bro. We're honored to be Season 3, Episode 1, bro, kicking it off.
So what, bro? Yeah. Tell the people about you, Eli, man.
So my name is Eli. I'm also known as Adrian Grody on Instagram. That's like my musician name. So a lot of people get confused. They're like, oh, is that full Adrian, or is that full Grody, or is that full Zude? And I'm like, it's like I got many aliases, so it's all good though, But I'm mainly an artist, and I do the podcasting here. I do a lot of the marketing and stuff for it. So I manage the social media too. So if you see me posting insane memes, that's me. So
that should be fun.
Yeah, but my main other thing I do is I'm making a comic book. It's a kind of like space fantasy action oriented kind of comic, very kind of old school looking with the colors. There's shirts from it, so zoom in on that, get the camera. But
that's pretty
dope. I've been working on that since like 2015, 16. I was writing the story, but then I started taking it seriously like 2018. But yeah, and like I said, I make music with this fool over here, and I do the podcast with this fool over here, the technomancer over there.
Bobby the man. What's going on, Bobby?
Not too much. How's it going?
Pretty good, bro. Pretty good. Tell the people about Bobby.
So I've been doing music production about, 15 years now, almost?
Damn.
Yeah, so that's been my main gig for like the longest time.
Okay.
Pretty much my only gig up until we started doing the ZudeCast. And then I kind of started branching out. And most recently, I started working on a little video game, although that's to be announced.
GTA 6 type?
Yeah, well, maybe not Rockstar level.
Okay.
But
even though you are a rock star.
Bro, fucking appreciate you. But yeah, it's a little like boomer shooter, first person, third person action sort of game. Yeah, we're gonna get there.
What made you get into that, man?
Actually, dude, it's a long story. So, about 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago now, when I was fresh out of high school, I went into university for game development. And right at that time, the whole industry was just kind of doing a 180 and flipping on its head. You remember seeing like loot boxes start popping up in video games and microtransactions taking over. And all these horror stories are like coming out of developers being overworked and like sleeping under their desks at the studios. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I dropped out of university.
Shit.
So, but happened to be at the same time, Unreal or Epic Games, who are the makers of Fortnite. They also make the world's biggest game development engine. And right as I was dropping out, they released their engine brand new, like a fully new numbered version for free to the public, so anybody could learn. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to get into it. And I lasted about a month and gave up again. So here we are 10 years later, and I'm trying to revisit that old dream, basically. So I've had the idea kicking around.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. To even have a mindset of like, hey, I'm going to create a game, and people going to like it because I like playing it. Are you a first shooter player?
Yeah, I play a lot of the first-person shooter stuff, like Call of Duty and Medal of Honor were definitely some of the first ones, like back in the day.
Yeah. I was a Metal Gear Solid guy.
Oh, I love Metal Gear Solid. I was gonna say
Snake go crazy.
Yeah, I love the kind of like third-person like action-oriented games too. That's like, Metal Gear Solid's fire, bro. Because Bobby's been helping me out with like a lot of the things that I want to do, like taking my IP, like with the comic book and stuff. And so we've been spitballing a bunch of game ideas with each other too. And like, like a top-down Metal Gear Solid type, like old school, definitely came up when we were talking about that. And this fool's been going ham, bro. It's crazy, bro. It's like literally the smartest shit I ever seen. I'm like, bro, this is so much math. Like,
yeah, I can't even put that shit in perspective at the moment. Like creating a video game, that's dope, bro.
Appreciate you guys.
I know a little Linux, but I'm not like a super Linux guy.
Oh man, Dude, it's some crazy C++ type stuff that I haven't had to think about since like game development school.
That's crazy.
So,
But before we even venture off a little bit, tell the people about your favorite episode of ZudeCast, man.
Oh,
favorite
man.
episode, because right now, if y'all don't know, tune in to ZudeCast, man. They got the 100 episode popping off. 100 episode, bro. They've been doing their shit.
Two more episodes. We got episode 99. It's gonna be the super ultra mega call-in episode. We're gonna have people zooming in, so we're gonna have like speed run interviews with people zooming in. We're gonna try to make that more of a regular thing too once we come back after episode 100. But yeah, man, episode 100.
That's promo right there. You can chop it up for real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's dope, bro.
We've been around the block once or twice, you know.
You guys got your wings. But tell me one of y'all favorite episodes, because y'all talk to a lot of great people, man.
that is a really tough one. You want to go first, Eli? I got to think about this.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna rush it. I'm just gonna just power through it. I mean, obviously, of course, I was just telling Will about this. We just got to talk to Skinner. He's an artist who's been doing a lot of different stuff for a long time. He's actually was making a lot of big moves in SAC from like 97 to like the early 2000s, he was saying. And he's done art for Creature Skateboards, Blood Wizard Skateboards, Adult Swim, Rick and Morty, Tenacious D, Mastodon. He did like the Mastodon Once More Around the Sun cover. High on Fire, that's another band that I grew up listening to. I skateboard and stuff too, so all those culture, little skateboarding metalhead. This fool's been in all of my spheres for a long time, and asked these guys, I was super nervous to talk to him. I was like, holy shit, this is happening, this is real. But he's cool as fuck, bro. He's one of the coolest cats I've ever talked to in my life, and it's just a trip that we got to have him on. That was like my probably. That one was special to me for sure.
Yeah.
I was getting, a little like, holy shit.
Starstruck.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit
yeah.
for sure. I didn't even really bring up my art too much because I was like, I want to keep the conversation like everybody, to do your, but like, I was a little nervous. I kind of wanted to be like, hey, look at my art. Do you like it? But that was just, it was just a fun time, bro. And it was cool. So that was probably my favorite one. And I will say I did love the horror movie Battle Royale. All the Battle Royale episodes are pure ZudeCast, just nonsense, just unadulterated nonsense, just the worst hypotheticals. And I feel like I can really cut loose from a comedy aspect in that side. So, and I like to wear costumes on the Battle Royale episodes and stuff. So, those have probably been my favorite ones, just off top right there.
Damn. Shoot. As far as we do like two formats, right?
Yeah, you could.
One format where we do whatever the fuck we want on the episode, and then another format where we're essentially doing guest interviews. So I got like two categories there. Like definitely the battle royales are like a top contender, but I like the MK Ultra episode that we did. That one was great.
That shit was crazy.
But then favorite guest interviews, probably like either the Skinner episode or the Jacob Swedlow episode.
Swedlow was
a lot of fun.
Was a great time, bro. He's been the homie for a while too, and so like I was long overdue, like the Swedlow one, and he's absolutely killing it lately. So
it was my first time meeting him on that one. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had never met him before. So
man, see,
it was a cool one.
Yeah. The MK Ultra one though, like you said though, I do think that was like probably our best deep dive. Like I feel like we knocked that shit out of the park. It had the most views out of any of our full episodes. It's got like 700 views compared to like normally got like 70, 80, all the people who actually we know and shit. But that one, like the algorithm really liked it. And it was just like, and hell of people were commenting on it and like saw it. And it's a trip. Yeah, it was a trip.
Even got me was looking. I was like, shit, MK Ultra 9. I'm on Wikipedia and shit, trying to look at shit. Like
I know we're all like, follow the money. Like that was our best conspiracy episode. I feel like too, because I had like the military jacket on and like the glasses, and I was like, listen to your brother. Like, I feel like that's definitely our best deep dive episode, I'd say for sure. Because the deep dive format, we're trying to bring that back too. But we started ZudeCast. It was a very politically contentious time, so we wanted to just be like, man, we don't give a fuck. We'll fucking talk about it right now on the podcast. Like, the whole point of it was to try to get, everybody was at each other's throats and shit. So we're like, no, we're all gonna sit in the fucking room. We're gonna smoke some pot and we're gonna talk about whatever, And it's like, and we're gonna be funny and we're all gonna have our own takes on it. And of course, it's a comedy show, so we try to be like, funny, but being informative is pretty important to us, I'd say too. Like when we do try to present stuff, we try to do at least a pretty decent job with something that's serious like that, like MK Ultra or like the central bank's digital currency one. We did one on like BRICS and all that.
I was just gonna ask something particular to that. For a person who never seen your episodes, what could they expect?
To be offended.
Both of you.
Yeah. I think that's probably one thing that is true for sure. Especially if you're easily offended. We don't get that outrageous, but it's all in the name of comedy usually, or in the name of just being honest, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open honesty.
Yeah.
Never hurt nobody.
Well, and I mean, I think there's times where we've had to. I mean, what you're talking about is serious, so the conversation gets a little more serious about like what the implications of different things are, and I think there is. We always try to keep the tone enjoyable, though,
Okay.
and but yeah, like we come in hot, I'd say for sure. Like we try to let people know what to expect, so that way when it's like. When we're actually being informative, it's like, oh, these guys are actually smart, even though they make pee poo poo jokes,
bro.
like. Yeah. Yeah, just some goofs, and maybe you'll learn some stuff that you didn't know before, because we just like to talk about stuff we find interesting, and personally, and like stuff that we think is important as well, not just stuff that's like. Like we did the
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, well, yeah, like we try to look for the truth behind a lot of the stuff too, and it's like it's the truth that's not very hard to find either. Like we put a couple out, we put hours of research in, but it's like, we're not like scouring the fucking libraries and the documents and shit. Like you can find all this stuff. We have it backlinked so people can check it out. And,
that's dope.
We want to make like a. Bobby's developed like this whole like kind of like board. It's like a big conspiracy board, but it's actually got clickables and stuff and articles and
Shit.
Full interactive,
web-based. We're trying to get it published so that people can.
That in a minute.
Yeah, so people can be like educated on it and like just be like, here's like what we've covered on the show, like in general. So, hopefully coming soon, we can get that kind of shit going, bro. That kind of multimedia apparatus to the experience of ZudeCast. So
yeah, that's hella crazy. Since these two guys is like the biggest conspiracy guys that I know, besides another one, I'm not gonna put you out there because you be chasing the rabbit hole. But give me your top 2 conspiracies, man. The top 2. I'm gonna go first.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I believe that the ocean is in the sky, and the sky is in the ocean. That's one.
Yeah,
and I believe something happened. In the fucking in Arizona, in the Grand Canyon, something was there.
Oh yeah,
That's all I know.
because there's the Grand Canyon. Yeah, no, the Grand Canyon. I love that one. We had Soné on, and she brought that up, and I was like, wait, what? And then I looked into that shit myself, and I'm like, yeah. Like
It's
this shit's
creepy,
crazy.
bro.
Yeah. Grand Canyon's a whole thing. There's also the whole thing with Mount Rushmore. There's like a whole like. They were going to have like a museum on top of the mountain behind it. And so it's all carved out, all sick with like columns and shit too. And they were going to keep a bunch of like the Declaration of Independence there and keep like XYZ there.
Okay.
But they ended up just abandoning it. And so, but nobody's allowed to go up there. You go up there, you're getting in fucking put in prison type shit. It's on some Area 51 vibes up on top of Mount Rushmore. So that's interesting. I was going to say off tops. Bobby, you got any off tops? Because I lost my train of thought real quick.
Oh, shoot.
But,
Everybody loves the good Anunnaki story, I think.
yeah.
That's crazy. I was just listening to that the other day, man.
Yeah.
That's like a rabbit hole for real.
That's a real deep one, yeah.
Can you explain to the people who
So
like a short passage, because I know we get deep.
in a nutshell, after the Great Flood about 12,500 years ago, it was essentially the Younger Dryas period is what it's known as. Essentially wiped out most of civilization on Earth, and as they rebuilt, they all seem to have stories about somebody emerging from the sky or from the sea and bringing civilization to light, essentially, and helping reform new civilizations.
That's right.
But these stories are all across the globe, irrespective of irrespective is not a real word. Sorry, I had to stop myself. Regardless of their geographical position or their cultural differences, they all seem to have a strange obsession with the same thing.
I was just gonna say too, because one of the main people who's actually done like genuine research into that theory is Graham Hancock, and he has this book called Fingerprints of the Gods, and I was just about to say that, yeah, like the Younger Dryas and like unknown civilizations existing before us is probably my favorite conspiracy theory, because I went to school to study history too, and it's like they really suppress that kind of information to like, you know, back up like the narrative of like mainstream historic academia. But it's like Graham Hancock is like super ostracized and like hella like pushed out and like called a whack job and shit, but he's done a lot of really super interesting you know, as an anthropologist, studies about all these theories and about like, yeah, the flood and like the different people emerging from the sea and stuff.
Part of the reason that he's getting so, you know, ostracized is because ultimately his research points back to the idea of lizard people.
Yeah.
Which is
well, even regardless of that though, which he is kind of a lizard person guy, but also I love lizard people. Talking about the lizard people, bro.
Talking about the lizard people.
Some Conan the Barbarian, bro, with the lizard people.
It's not real.
Yeah. Exactly.
terrifying, but kind of sick. I mean,
yeah. But Graham Hancock, my brother and my cousin were super into him when I was like, you know, I was like 9, 10, 11, like first getting into like space and like aliens and like first exploring outside of like my religion I was raised in.
So you grew up in like.
Yeah, I was around some trippy shit. My cousin, he's a wild guy. But yeah, he was super into like aliens and conspiracies and UFO stories and like different religions and stuff, and like black magic and shit too. And like I learned a lot about that stuff, just kind of tangentially hanging out with him. He's kind of got a lot going on in his life, but I learned a lot from them. And then my big brother too, of course, is you know, my big brother taught me how to skateboard, showed me a bunch of music, put me onto like a bunch of other shit too, a bunch of other like you know, Hunter S. Thompson, like Fearing and Loathing, like showed me that.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably my main favorite one, I'd say too. Yeah, like the Anunnaki, and there's one that's kind of, it's not really like a conspiracy theory. It's more like it's like a book. It's like a religious text called like the Gospel of Judas, and so it tells like Judas's perspective of the story of Jesus. And everything's kind of different because it's from a more like esoteric order of people that like worship Jesus.
Right.
And so like they kind of like Jesus plays this whole different like role where it's like it really helps you understand like the difference between like Christianity and Judaism and like what they kind of represent like in, you know, because they're not like, these are religious scholars that are very like, they believe in like the diffusion of ideas, you know, too. So like they're able to like actually kind of like isolate how they were functioning amongst each other. But it's basically saying it was like a weird, crazy like blood magic ritual, and Judas was a very important spiritual figure because he was the one to give him to the Romans, you know. And so Judas's role in the story is, in his own way, he is like a major figure of the ritual, you know, and he's like important, but the whole story is like from his perspective, but he's still a piece of shit, you know. It's not like he's like, it's like a villain origin story almost, you know what I mean, kind of shit. But that's a super interesting stuff. Like I said, I'm all into that stuff. Also not a conspiracy theory, but I love Hindu mythology. I wear little Shiva with me everywhere. So yeah, Shiva's the goat.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh man, dude, he's the destroyer and the creator all in once, which I definitely feel that in me bones. But there's just a lot of his stories are just very like kind of like parables for just like life patterns that happen to people, and very archetypal mythological kind of character. And then I mean, you know, it's like he's a deity, so it's just a trip, you know. But I'm into all that stuff. Yeah, anyways.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. That's definitely different, bro.
Yeah,
man, y'all guys been doing a lot of work lately. 100 episodes.
yeah.
100 episodes.
We're
guys.
deep in it.
You guys deep in. What made you guys started like want to do a podcast?
Shoot,
That's a good question to ask.
I think we were just chopping it up and, you know, having too many good times and too many laughs, and realized, hey, you know what? We're actually funnier than some of the people that we watch on YouTube who are doing pretty well. So fuck it. Like, let's just see what happens. And we saw that people were pretty receptive, but doing it is definitely a hard thing to do.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, man.
It's a hard thing to like maintain too, you know, especially when you're figuring out what you're doing and shit too. Like, cause it was so much where we're like, I don't know, you know, like we're so much figuring it out, just along the way. Even still, you know, we're still figuring out all kinds of, you know, how we want to like handle like, you know, all the different avenues of like delegating work and fucking marketing and you know, booking guests and like finding new ways to like reach new audiences and stuff. And it's wild. But I definitely think too, like Bobby said, it's, you know, we've all been friends again since high school. Me, Bobby, and Chris. Chris is the third member of the podcast.
Shout out Chris,
bro. He's zooming around, putting in some work. But yeah, we've all been friends for a long time, and like we all have like made music together at different points too. So like those roots run deep of, you know, like just our group dynamic and how well we work together and how well we work on being creative together and doing serious things together. And you know, we've thrown a couple backyard shows, and you know, we've like tried to like form different music groups at different points and stuff. And you know, we started like Bobby started like a whole like Valley Heights collective like a long time ago, and like we tried to do similar stuff to what, you know, what we're doing now. But
I forgot about that.
I think the podcast is really like the fly trap, or the sticky paper, you know, that like it really helps us stick to something, you know, because music, all of our other stuff is very, you know, we're all a little independent about it, you know. But if it's like we're holding each other accountable for the podcast, like I feel like it makes us be even better than we already, you know, can be, you know, because like we're all putting our heads in on something, and so it makes us get like more disciplined in our other areas of our life too, I feel like. So yeah, I like doing it.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Cause y'all recently was at the skate park too. That shit was hella dope. Y'all was at the skate park. Everybody was out there skating and shit. Y'all had interviews. I felt like it was so like authentic, man, because it was like a vibe.
Yeah, man.
40 ounces and shit. Like, it was a whole vibe outside, guys. It was dope. That was dope.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, the whole that actually started, the ZudeCast Open World thing started when we were not able to have like a studio because we all were in like different positions of moving and stuff too. And then Bobby and Chris had to move out of where they were staying, and so we didn't have like an actual studio for a minute. So we're like, God, what are we gonna do? We need to post something on our channel. Our channel's gonna just die. And so we took the you know the Zoom and the mic and the camera out to the park, and we just did one at the park, and it was fun, you know. It's different, it's cool, you know. And it's like the point, it reminded us more of like when we first started, and we're just like just totally riffing and just totally goofing, and like stuff came up, but it wasn't super like structured. So that's why I like going out, and you know, because you know, you just talk to someone like 10-15 minutes, you know. Try not to make them too crazy, but you know, you see it all the time too. People like on the street interviews and stuff. Like you see those reels blow up. So I'm like, it's a good thing to pounce on. So I have fun. I hope people have fun when they come and do it with us, and try to do it more often. But you know, just
that's pretty dope.
We busy bees.
I feel it. Let the people know exactly how important a team is to you, Bobby.
Well, we all play a very, very critical role, and because we are all so different, we're all very good at very different things. And I think that makes us definitely stronger as a team. Not a single one of us can really go missing for too long and stay above water. So we definitely need each other in that regard. But you know, as individuals too, I think we're all very, you know, prolific in our own right at the other things that we do. And I'm definitely speaking about the other two guys as well. Like Chris is a great guitar player, and Eli is absolutely dedicated to his art and has been doing it forever and ever. So you know, I'm just humbled to be working with such like dedicated dudes.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chris for real though too, because he's been playing like a lot of shows lately, really ramping it up with his like live music career and stuff. Okay. And so he's been busting ass, man, and we're definitely super proud of him too. And again too, like he's the homie. We've all been doing all this shit for a long time. I actually met Chris in kindergarten. He's like stop saying that shit, bro. And I'm like, but it's true though. But
so that's my best friend.
Yeah, it's that OG. Yeah, it's that OG, bro. We're all definitely. When we were looking for a new spot, they were like, oh, they're looking for family units. We're like, the Zudes are a family. God damn it! Like we're like the Zudes are a family.
Squad, bro.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Man, anything in 2024 you guys want to manifest and talk on the podcast, so when you look back and you be like, damn, I actually done that.
Just in like in terms of everything, or like
everything.
The podcast, yeah,
everything, life in general.
I'm trying to put out more issues of my comic in 2024, and it's like totally a different kind of like mentality to putting out art pieces. I feel like I have to kind of think about how to do like comics more, but I want to do that because that's what I set out to do, and I feel like I'm good enough at drawing now to where I can actually like pull off a lot of the ideas that I've had for a long time and make it look like pretty good. So that's my goal with that, is to like take that to the next level. He was actually helping me set up some templates to move like to new software and stuff to be able to do more powerful shit, use vectors and more Photoshop techniques. So there's that. And then the podcast, man, we just got to take this rocket ship all the way the fuck up, bro. I'm just going to start asking bigger guests and start asking just on the chance, like who cares, just ask, you never know.
Never know.
I still trip out that Skinner came on, because I asked, and it's like, let's go. So
blessings, bro.
Yeah, man.
Quick 30 seconds for no one who ever read your comic book. Give us a rundown.
Yeah, so it's a space fantasy kind of like big sweeping saga where it's almost like its own little like like Marvel universe.
Okay.
Where all the stories take place kind of in different like settings. They all have different tones and stuff, but then they all intersect and weave together through like the main storyline. And so the main three genres that it is like encompassing is definitely like fantasy action, like mythological kind of fantasy stuff, horror, and like all kinds of different types of horror, and then like sci-fi futurism, like Blade Runner, all your kind of techno dystopian stuff. I want to blend all three of those genres together at different points,
That's dope.
But then the main focus, though, like I said, is in a lot of ways is character development. Like that's a big part of it. All like the characters and their arcs and like their inner journeys are as visually represented too, because it's a comic and it can be just kind of as visually expressive as their external journeys. So like I said, a lot of focus, but it's still corny. It's still fun. It's still over the top and ridiculous. But like horror, fantasy, sci-fi, like all blended together.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Godspeed, man. Hope everything work out. For you, man, what you got for 2024?
Shoot. Recent decision since I just started making this game, but I think starting in January, once I've made some initial learning progress, I'm going to live stream my development every day, or at least as many days as I actually can. Kind of teach the people what I'm doing as I make my way through it myself.
That's dope.
And yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Godspeed, man. Yeah. That's hella dope. Man, if you know, this has been season 3, episode 1. I got Eli, I got Bobby. Tune in to ZudeCast, man. 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, right?
Mondays
now,
See,
yep.
That's why I had to reach back out. Mondays, no Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Tap in. Follow these guys, man. These some great guys.
All right.
Love. Whoop, whoop. Zude out.